I am going to be letting people in as we move along. I'm a one-man show over here, but I'm truly thrilled that you all have joined me on this beautiful Sunday. I am Gary. It's good to see you. I love it when the masculine shows up to the webinar. This is a very warm Sunday for me. It's about 120 degrees. I'm coming to you all from Indio, California. So it's 120 degrees, very warm. It reminds me of this reel I recently saw. It was an older lady. She was saying that she needed to get her life together because this heat made her realize that she couldn't go to hell. That's just how I feel. I cannot go to hell. I need to go somewhere where I can feel the cool summer breeze with there's palm trees. My nirvana looks like this beautiful island with white sandy beaches. In our tradition, we call it lai lai. That's how my lai lai looks. Anyhow, I am truly grateful to have you all join me on this beautiful, I met everybody. On this beautiful Sunday, when we're embarking on a transformative journey together. I am Celestino Cornel. Erica, it's good to see you. It's been a minute. When we embark on this beautiful journey together, I am Celestino Cornel. And if I look familiar to some of you, yes, I am an actor. But most importantly, I am an urban shaman. And my life mission is to empower all of my relations to fulfill their greatest destiny. And in service of this, I have created a shamanic coaching program. In essence, what I've done is I've incorporated shamanism into a coaching framework to develop a 16-week personal transformation program that combines shadow integration tools and modern scientifically proven therapeutic techniques for a groundbreaking approach to inner child healing, sexual healing, and spiritual growth that will ensure you complete fulfillment emotionally, sexually, and spiritually. This is your birthright. And if at this moment you are experiencing anything but that, I am here to remind you of your magic. My process is about self-awareness, empowerment, and realization. And today, we're going to be diving deep into the alchemy of love, where we'll be exploring powerful concepts designed to help you build relationships that are only loving and fulfilling, but also elevating and transformative. This is what we all desire in our relationships, not the superficial stuff that's so often peddled to us through social media and the forth. So if you've been struggling and every time I do these webinars, it's so fun trying to juggle, letting people in and doing the talking. Hopefully it's not too distracting as I'm shuffling around. In any regard, if you've been struggling in relationships, if you've been stuck in patterns of attracting emotionally unavailable partners that do nothing but hurt and trigger you, my aim with this webinar is to guide you in understanding your relationship patterns, in uncovering the root causes of your struggle, and more importantly, to empower you to attract a self-aware partner with whom you can build a healthy relationship based on elevated notions of love, trust, and mutual respect. This is what we design a partnership. The emphasis of the webinar today would be the importance of, number one, self-awareness. Number two, doing the inner work. And three, developing true intimacy with another. So that you may create a lasting and fulfilling relationship that truly thrives. This is the alchemy of ecstasy. Now, why alchemy of love? Why call it that? You might be wondering, why call it that? The answer lies in this. The profound process of inner work and transformation that's essential for building a high vibrational relationship. Just as alchemists transform substances, we transform, let me let Elizabeth in. So just as alchemists transform substances, we transform ourselves. This means delving into our shadows, understanding our deepest desires and fears, and emerging with a new fount of self-awareness and empowerment. This is the essence of alchemy. And at its core, alchemy, Randy, it's man. And at its core, alchemy is about transformation. Historically, alchemists sought to turn base metal into gold. In the realm of love and relationship, we're seeking a similar transformation. Welcome, Nadia, Marlene, everybody. So in the realm of love, we're seeking a similar transformation. It's a complete metamorphosis that must take place. And what we want to do, in essence, is transmute often ordinary, challenging relationship into high vibrational, thriving connections. This is what we're after, Miss Jordan. I'm letting you in. This journey is about evolving into your highest self and creating a relationship that then mirrors this elevated state of being. Why? Why must you do this first? It's like there's steps to it. This is important because the sum of every thought, every idea is who you are. I'll say it again. You are the sum of every thought, every idea, every action you've taken. This is who you are. And based on this, you are emitting a resonant frequency that is either attracting or repelling certain individuals and experiences into your orbit. Lukumi is our ancestral earth-based spiritual practice. And in the most basic sense, Lukumi is about learning to live in harmony with nature and ourselves. This requires a transformation that leads to an elevated state of being we call Iwapele. Iwapele is commonly translated to gentleness or good character. As most spiritual traditions, and particularly earth-based spiritual traditions, this is what we speak about. It's about moving through this earth with integrity and exhibiting good character. To us, we call this Iwapele. Now, as I said, it translates to like gentleness, good character, and that, in a sense, is very accurate, but it doesn't fully encompass the profound esoteric meaning, the implication that word holds to us. To us, Iwapele is contractions of the words Iwa and Opele. Iwa is used as a prefix for a number of words describing a wide range of character traits, both negative and positive. Opele is a tool of divination that our wisdom keepers, we call babalaos, utilize during Dafa. Babalao, in essence, means father of secrets or father of mysteries. And Dafa is one of the oldest, if not the oldest, system of divination on Earth. And I just let some folks in. And it describes a process that we utilize to consult our oracle, which we call Ifa. To say that an individual is reflecting qualities of Iwapele is to suggest that they are exhibiting a balance between their masculine and their feminine aspects. This state of being is evident in the choices they make, the good character they exhibit in everyday life, and their contribution to society. This can be measured when you move through the earth in Iwapele. In our shamanic practice, we believe that to move through the physical world, making choices that most powerfully aligns us with the path of our greatest destiny, we must consult the spirit world. Therefore, the purpose of Dafa is to provide spiritual guidance and empowerment to the individual by revealing insights into their life, their challenges, potential solutions. And in essence, once a month, all of my students, they go through Dafa consultation. I am uninitiated Babalao, so I do not perform the ceremonies myself. My elder does. You see, everyone and everything emits its own unique resonant frequency. Therefore, although my padrino does not deal with my student on a day-to-day basis, he doesn't need to. Because when we bring forth a student through this ceremonial aspect, this Dafa, Ifa speaks based on the resonant frequency the individual is emitting. Based on your resonant frequency, certain possibilities are available to you and others are not. Therefore, if you are not happy with the prospects and the relationships you are attracting, you must change your resonant frequency. How do you do this? Well, this requires a paradigm shift, a complete change in the way you move about the world, the way you think. But before we dive deeper to help you better appreciate how the prospects, the relationships in your life are mere reflections of your internal state of being, I want to do a bit of housekeeping. We are family, as I said in the beginning. So as I go through the webinar, if you need a potty break, if you need a drink, just go ahead and take it. I'm recording the webinar. At the end, I will email you a replay link. If you want a snack, go ahead and have it. Enjoy it. Go ahead. It's all good. The energy of number 5 has a very strong influence in my life. I was born on the 5th year, on the 5th day, and raised by 5 powerful women. This makes me naturally curious, sensitive, and very sensual, as number 5 represents the human experience, as we experience it through the 5 senses: see, smell, hear, touch, taste. We also have 5 fingers, and most mammals, amphibians, reptiles, also have 5 fingers or toes in each extremity. This is the way it's designed. It's intelligent design. And in honor of this, during my gatherings, I like to share 5 practices for us to observe during our time together. Number 1 is we're going to commit to speaking the truth. There's nothing weird about your truth. You are okay. We're all okay. Our thoughts, our cravings, our desires, our kinks are all okay. And this is a safe space. Number 2, we're going to practice non-judgment. The greatest expression of love is to observe another without judgment. Why? What's important? Because the other is our own self. I am another you, and you are another me. The ancient Mayans asserted this truth in greeting each other and saying, in Lakesh Alakim. This is the same esoteric truth spoken when one says namaste. So today, we're going to stand in our power also. We're going to take responsibility for ourselves. The chat is open. And I encourage you all to connect and share support with each other, but do set whatever boundary you need to protect yourself, because we're going to speak our truth. We're going to protect ourselves. We're going to stand in our power, and we're going to practice non-judgment this moment. And we're also going to participate, because in all things, we get what we put into it. My task as a facilitator is, in essence, to create a safe and sacred space where we feel comfortable and open to ask questions, to speak, and connect. But we, the collective, is the content. And the truth will speak through us. So I encourage you to turn on your cameras and participate as much as possible. Even if that's giving me a thumbs up, a warm smile, this is beautiful how the tech allows us to connect from all parts of the world, but sometimes it can feel a bit impersonal. So I appreciate the thumbs up, the warm smiles, whatever you can give me, and ask your questions. I'm here in service of you, dependent on how time is going, how I'm doing on time. At the end of each section, I may stop and answer these questions. Otherwise, what I will do is at the end, I will hold a Q&A and answer all of your questions. I promise that I will not leave until I've answered every one of your questions. But an advice that I have is that as you think of a question, write it into the chat box. That way you don't forget, because if you're anything like me, I got these brilliant thoughts pop into mind, and if I don't act on them, they go right out. So I don't want that to happen. I don't want the webinar to finish, and then you're thinking, oh, darn it, I meant to ask this. Don't do that. Just write it through the chat, in the chat box, and we're going to work it out. All right? Hello, Rachel. So, the first segment, we're going to dive deep into understanding a relationship as divine mirrors. This is very important that we understand this. Our relationship reflects back to us our strength, our beauty, but also our deepest insecurities and wounds. Admit all. The admit all button really helps me out here. I'm grateful for it. But yes, relationships are reflecting back to us. And it's easy to understand how our romantic relationships are doing that. But let me be very clear. I'm not just speaking of romantic relationships. I'm speaking of all relationships. All of your relationships are mirroring your internal state of being. That means your relationship with your superiors, your bosses at work, your parents, your kids, your neighbors. All of that is mirroring your internal state of being. This mirroring effect is not just a coincidence. This is a divine design meant to help you heal, grow, and evolve. Now, romantically speaking, because that's why we're here, every partner you attract offers a unique opportunity to learn more about yourself and to address your unresolved traumas and, in essence, evolve through that transformation. Welcome, Ms. Jordan. Thank you for the beautiful greeting. This, in essence, highlights the importance of doing the inner work. Simply put, we want to change our internal world. And to do this, like if you really want to do this, it's going to require work, but in essence, if you want to change the outer world, the only way to do that is to first change the inner world. Before you can build a thriving relationship with another, you must, in essence, first build a thriving relationship with your own self. I'll say that again. It's important. Before you can build a thriving relationship with another, you must first build a thriving relationship with your own self. This involves, number one, self-awareness, recognizing your patterns, understanding why you attract certain partners, and identifying the root causes of your relationship struggles. Healing. Then you want to address these unresolved trauma, these unmet emotional child needs from your past. And then it's empowerment. Then you allow this newfound self-awareness and healing to empower you to cultivate a deep sense of self-love, self-respect, setting healthy boundaries, and learning to communicate more effectively. Pauline, welcome. Practically speaking, this means that if you find yourself stuck in patterns of dating assholes, and you commonly find yourself in happy hour with your girls man bashing, you need to step back. All right? Create the self-awareness to better understand the unresolved issues that has you stuck in these toxic patterns, and also the realization that your girlfriends are also reflecting your internal state of being. This means that 9 times out of 10, if you're stuck in certain toxic patterns, your inner circle is also struggling with similar patterns. So the pat in the back, oh, it's going to be okay. It's like, no. The inner circle's experiencing the same thing, and the inner circle needs transformation. So in essence, at the end of the day, all of y'all need to join my Alchemy of Ecstasy program. Seriously speaking, though. I'm sure you all have heard, like if you look at the 5 people closest to you, you in essence earn about as much money. Your quality of life is all very similar. The 5 people closest to you whom you spend the most time with, everything is reflecting to you. And particularly the people that are closest to you, the people you spend the most time, they are your mirrors. So through the Alchemy of Ecstasy, what I do is I guide my students step by step through this process to ensure that they not only understand these concepts intellectually, but more importantly, that they embody them in their daily life. In essence, so they move through this earth exhibiting qualities of Iwapele. The 16 weeks, is 4 months. It's a 16-week program. Right now, I only have 55 minutes with you, and there's a lot of information to share, and I can only give you all a taste at the end of the day. But I do want to share the information with you. So ultimately, what I've decided to do is make this a 2-part webinar. All right. So we're going to get some heavy work done. Now, years ago, I'll share a personal story. Years ago, I found myself in a relationship that, on the surface, seemed perfect. We had chemistry, shared interests, a deep mutual attraction. Sex was amazing. However, as time went by, as usually does, patterns emerged that were incredibly triggering to us both. We could be getting ready to go somewhere, and something was said or done, and we would just be in each other's throat. A big argument would ensue, and we would end up not going anywhere. Or worse, she or I would just leave the house and do God knows what. And we will just like blame each other, point the finger at each other. You did this, you said this, you. We were just stuck, pointing the finger. And why? It's like I keep asking, why? There's so much love. Why is this happening? Unbeknownst to me at the time, the relationship was mirroring our unresolved traumas, our fears, and our insecurity. At the time, I was also experiencing a deep spiritual awakening. My whole life was turned upside down. And that sent me on this deep journey of doing the inner work, of connecting with my ancestors and our ancestral spiritual practice. And after years of doing the inner work, I came to realize that every argument, every moment of tension was shining spotlights on parts of myself that I had either suppressed, repressed, or disassociated from. This, in essence, is what we call the shadow self. The issues I faced in the relationship were mere reflections of my own unresolved inner struggles. The relationship was just mirroring to me, showing me the areas of myself that needed healing, that needed growth. And with this profound understanding, I came to truly see just how amazing and beautiful this woman was, and that my anger, my frustration, which I erroneously directed at her, was rooted in my mother wound. The pain I had caused this woman simply because I was ignorant of my own pain, my own unresolved emotional needs. Think of that, how perhaps this might be playing out in your respective relationships. But here's something very important to share. Once the source and inner essence of a thing is grasped, it is possible to live in harmony with it. This is why we must do our inner work. Relationships are powerful reflections of our inner world. And I'll keep repeating that through the webinar because I want to really drive that point through. They not only highlight our beauty and our capacity for love as we come to enjoy during the early stages of the relationship where we just love and we are consumed by the pageantry of love. You know, he opens doors for me. He brought me flowers. You know, that's the basic shit. Anybody can open doors for you. Anybody can bring you flowers. You know, anybody can go on a cruise with you. But can they be your life partner? When you forget your way, when you lose your confidence because life has beat you up again and again and again, will they be there to hold it down with you? Are they going to ride and die with you? That's what we want. We want to develop that true intimacy, not just somebody that's going to, you know, hop on a plane or open doors, bring us flowers. We want somebody that's really down for us. We want to be able to open our soul to another and show them just how small and if it's significant we feel at times, and for them to still choose us, to still love us. That's what we want. That's what we deserve. Not the basic superficial stuff. Anybody can give us that. But at a certain point in our life, that's not enough. We want to dig deeper. And I'm here to tell you that digging deeper, that's your birthright, for you to experience that, for you to walk through this earth, not feeling alone, feeling like somebody's got you. That's your birthright. But, let me say it plain, before you attempt to build a high vibrational relationship with another, you must do the inner work. Or they're going to drive you crazy. If you don't get that point, they're going to drive you crazy because the relationship is going to bring to the surface your deepest hurts, your deepest insecurities, your unmet emotional childhood needs. Think of it this way. At any given point, the individuals you choose to enter in relationships with will reflect back onto you the parts that have been suppressed, repressed, and disassociated. When we encounter conflict or tension in a relationship, it's not just about the external situation. It's not just about the surface. I'm sure you all have been in arguments that have blown up in relationships, and it was something so small. Like you left the toilet seat up. How many times have I asked you? Is the argument really about the toilet seat? It's not really why you're so upset. Or is it really because your partner is reflecting onto you all of the things that you have not quite gotten in touch with, that lies within, that causes you pain, that influences your decision? Now, the beautiful thing is that this mirroring effect is divine design, meant to help us grow, meant to help us evolve by creating the need for us to address the parts of ourselves that need healing. This is divine design. Traumas leave an indelible mark in us, in our psyche. They shape how we perceive ourselves and the world around us. And when it comes to trauma and processing it through us, we generally utilize three basic coping mechanisms, which I mentioned. It's basically suppression, repression, and disassociation. And for those of you that might not be familiar with that, suppression is when we consciously try to push away thoughts or ignore the thoughts. Like we just say, like, I don't even want to think about it. I don't want to talk about it. You know, you went through something traumatic, a friend's trying to engage you, and you're like, you know what? I'm not ready. I don't want to talk about it. I just don't want to talk. That's suppression. You're consciously just pushing it away. Repression is similar to this, but it happens at a subconscious level. We unknowingly push an incident, something that was said to us, something that was done to us below the surface, and therefore leave it unaddressed. And this later influences our behavior without our conscious awareness. This association involves separating from the incident. This could be as the trauma is occurring, you just kind of like leave your body and you're like watching yourself going through the experience, or perhaps when you think of the experience, it doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel like it happened to you. It feels like it happened to somebody else, like you watch it in a movie. No, it's, you know, it just feels like there's a separation. That's in essence this association. It's a detachment from the incident, from the reality of the matter, from oneself. When we enter into relationship, these unhealed wounds then influence our interaction and expectations. For example, if you experience abandonment in childhood, you might find yourself overly dependent on partners, fearing that they might leave you. Like, oh my God, you know, they're going to leave, they're going to come back, you know, that type of thing. If you faced emotional neglect, you might attract partners who are emotionally unavailable. If you couldn't talk to your parents, you know, most likely you attract a partner you can't talk to either. Yeah, this is it's just mirroring your unhealed pain. Whatever that pain is within you, that's what's going on. Sometime back, I had a new student join my program, the Alchemy of Ecstasy, and her main complaint was that even though she was very successful in a male-dominated industry and was very good at placing boundaries, when it came to romantic relationships, she was a doormat. She was stuck in a toxic pattern of dating men who in turn treated her like shit. Furthermore, these shit men were married. That was her pattern. She says, like, sometimes I meet them, they tell me they're single, and it turns out they're married. You know, so I took her by the hand and guided her step by step through the process, exploring the labyrinth of her shadow, her pain, her traumas. And it became evident that she had a very troubled relationship with her parents, and particularly with her mother. And often the mother behaved like if she was the other woman, and they were both competing for the affection of the father. And the mother would say things like, he's my husband. He's my husband. Right? You know, if she wanted to spend time with dad, the mom, oh, that's my husband. That's my husband. You know, that's what she experienced. And in one particular occasion, the situation grew so tense that the mother forced the father to choose between the wife and the daughter. She was 17 at the time. The father then proceeds to kick her out. The father forced her to leave out of the house. That unresolved pain still visits her. So through this shit pattern of dating married men, what she had unconsciously been doing is trying to heal her father wound, to be chosen over the wife. As I said earlier, once the source and inner essence of a thing is grasped, it is possible to live in harmony with it. So today, I'm happy to say that she is now dating single men. And there's one in particular she really likes, so I'm really rooting for her. Yeah, it just shows the importance of understanding how relationships act as divine mirrors. And that understanding is a crucial step in the personal growth required to attain the paradigm shift that will empower you to then create high vibrational relationships that reflect your elevated state of being. Iwa bene. This paradigm shift, or in essence, I'm going to let Brian in it. In essence, a paradigm shift fundamentally speaks on a change. It's in the underlying assumptions and approach to a particular concept of thing. It involves seeing things from a completely new way of being. Often, this leads to breakthroughs, new insights and transformation. In the context of relationships, a paradigm shift means moving away from seeing relationships solely as a source of happiness and fulfillment. Like trying to seek somebody to complete you, to make you happy, like shifting away from that. And instead of viewing them as powerful opportunities for healing and personal growth. This new perspective allows us to recognize how our inner world shapes our relationships, and that by addressing the traumas that influence our patterns, we can then begin the process of healing and transforming our relationships. Traditional views on relationships are, in essence, based on a fairy tale. We were watching these Disney movies. There's the knight in shining armor that rides up in a white horse and gallops and rises away, or we have to save the damsel in distress. It's all fairy tales. It's not based in reality, but we're stuck in it because we've been programmed with these ideas from birth of what we have to do and how we find this partner. And then there's this great big wedding and all this stuff, right? And then we're going to be happy and live our rest of our lives with this individual that's going to fulfill all of our needs. If you haven't realized it by now, it's a damn lie. It's a lie. Nobody can fulfill all of our needs. It's a lie. It's a fairy tale. Well, these aspects, of enjoying someone's company, going on vacation, and just having these beautiful moments, they're important. They only scratch the surface of what relationship can offer us. And most definitely, they do not encompass what a true partnership is. When we experience conflicts, misunderstandings, or unmet expectations, it's easy to feel delusioned, to question the relationship's worth, and to begin perhaps entertaining the idea that the grass is greener elsewhere. However, by shifting our perspective and realizing that uncomfortable conversations create healthy relationships, I think that's worth repeating again. Uncomfortable conversations create healthy relationships. When we understand that, we can then begin to see the challenges as opportunities for deeper healing, personal growth, and intimacy, both with ourselves and with our partner. Imagine viewing every conflict, every moment of tension as a divine nudge, pointing you towards areas within yourself that need attention, that need healing. By embracing this perspective, all of our relationships and conflicts we experience within them become powerful tools for self-discovery and personal evolution. This divine design of relationship is meant to help us evolve and move about this earth in this path towards our greatest destiny and to our true fulfillment and our purpose. By embracing this paradigm shift, by embracing this new approach and relationship, you will then begin to feel a sense of purpose, gratitude, even in challenging times. So when the challenge arises, don't be like, oh, why me? Give thanks for it. Thank you. Gratitude. Give gratitude to it. And ask Divine Spirit, whatever it is you believe in, to guide you in understanding what is the deeper truth that lies underneath it all. This new perspective will not only enhance the relationship, but it will serve as a catalyst for profound personal growth. Now, let's talk about doing the inner work. Let's really dive into that. And I'm going to give you some shadow integration exercises that will facilitate this process. But before I do it, I want to make something very clear. You do not need to be 100% healed to be in a healthy relationship. I'm going to say that one again. You do not need to be 100% healed to be in a healthy relationship. The truth is that none of us are ever completely healed. We are all works in progress. Anybody that tells you otherwise is a lie. I don't care if it's the Dalai Lama, he tells you he's perfect, is a lie. I've never heard him say anything like that, and I don't think that he ever will. But whoever it is you're looking up to, the Pope, your grandpappy, anybody that tells you they're perfect, that they got it all figured out, is a lie. This is how they reveal themselves to be a lie. We are all works in progress. I'm not standing, I'm actually sitting, but I'm not, on this other side of the screen, pretending that I'm perfect, pretending my relationships are perfect. No, we're all working through it. This too is also divine design, right? And I'll tell you why. Because this leads to growth. And when we're not growing, when we are not being challenged, we get bored. You ever felt bored in a relationship? You ever felt bored in life? You're not being challenged. You're bored. And you know what boredom leads to? Conceit. Makes you believe you got it all figured out. Leads to pride. And we all know what happens after pride. It's that fall. This is how it works. That said, you do need to be aware of your scars. You need to be aware of the root of your pain and your triggers. And this requires a high level of self-awareness, willingness to address your unresolved traumas, your unmet emotional childhood needs from the past, and then to embody this elevated self-awareness and healing so that it empowers you to self-love, self-respect, make better choices, set healthy boundaries. In other words, iwapele. I said earlier that once the source and inner essence of anything is grasped, it is possible to live in harmony with it. In a more practical sense, it means that when you acknowledge your wounds, your triggers, you gain the ability to manage them more effectively in your relationship with your own self. Now you understand what happened, why it happened. So now you can move about more effectively through the situation. This awareness then prevents us from projecting our unresolved issues onto our partners and help us communicate more openly and honestly. For example, you might say, when you do this, it triggers this pain. And the truth is that our partners, the people we enter into a relationship, they truly care and love us. And when you level with your significant other in this way, they will give you the love, the compassion that you need. Oh, I understand now. Well, when you do that, it triggers this. And then we have these deeper conversations. And these deeper conversations, like we're just really getting naked in front of each other. That's what we want. That's what's going to lead to that intimacy we're all craving. So it's going to help you move about more effectively, get more of it. The journey is not about achieving perfect healing, but about understanding, kanak, but about understanding our patterns and learning to navigate through them. This shift in perspective will transform you, and in turn will transform your relationship. As you become more open, more vulnerable, willing to communicate your needs, it will just create this elevated level of awareness that would in turn attract a partner who also values emotional intimacy and shares your commitment to personal growth. And here's the thing, when you do the work and you're walking this truth, anyone that is not at that level with you, you won't be attracted to them. And if you find yourself attracted to an individual that doesn't have the emotional intelligence, the capacity to hold space for you, to meet you at that level, that's just showing you got more work to do, sis. You are not here to heal these broken men. I'm talking right to the sisters. I hear a lot. As I share, I was raised by women. High powerful woman. I grew up listening to the complaints about men, and I swear I would never be that kind of man. So I often hear, particularly in spiritual communities, how you're attracting broken men. It's the brokenness in you that's attracting these broken men. It is not your responsibility to mother these men, to heal these men. It's not your responsibility. Stop bringing these stray cats. It's not your responsibility. You are your responsibility. Now let's get to some exercises. We're all going to get tired. So the first exercise, and I welcome you to grab a pen and paper so you can begin doing this work. It's going to help you identify the root of your pain. All right? There's two parts to this. You're the one to grab it. You write in your tablet if you want. But in essence, to do the first part, you're going to grab your journal, your tablet. You're going to find a quiet place where you're undisturbed. I always recommend before you do any journaling activity or anything so forth to take a quiet moment with yourself, take a few deep breaths, and really feel into your body, center yourself, and create this sense of calm within you. Then I want you to think about your childhood, your family dynamics. Did you experience emotional, physical abuse, perhaps neglect? Did you experience, whether at home or elsewhere, sexual abuse? Journal about that in as much detail as you can remember. And there's two parts to this exercise, and don't feel like you have to do them both in the same day. I might even recommend you not to do so, and particularly if you have a lot coming up. Give yourself time to process. Be gentle with yourself. For part two, I want you to journal on what impact these traumas or unmet emotional needs are having in your relationship. How are they showing up in your relationship? What limiting beliefs or sabotaging behaviors are you exhibiting because of your traumas? For this part, it might be helpful to write down recent instances when you felt triggered or upset in a relationship, and then reflect on what underlying emotions or past experiences might be contributing to these reactions. Exercise 2 will help you explore hidden aspects that are and how they're showing up. So for this one, again, you grab your journal, your tablet, find a quiet space where you're undisturbed, and I'll say again, don't do this in one night, one day. It's a lot of work, and I want you to think of the individuals closest to you, your inner circle, and about the qualities in them that you strongly dislike. And consider how these traits might reflect aspects of yourself that you've repressed or disowned. Once you have done these two exercises, I want you to open a dialogue with your shadow. This is exercise 3. And there's two parts to this exercise as well. You will begin the first part, you grab your journal, find a quiet space, take some deep breaths, truly ground yourself, and you're going to write a letter to the part of yourself or the parts of yourself that you've discovered have gone unaddressed, that you find challenging or difficult to accept, and express your feelings openly. You know, like tell these parts of yourself, like, listen, you're messing up my relationship. But whatever comes up, you know, just let it all out. Whatever might come up. And part two of this exercise is then to allow that part of yourself to write you a response. And what you're going to do is acknowledge its perspective and its needs. And the fourth exercise I'm going to give you is a mirror exercise. I love the mirror exercises. It's a powerful technique for shadow work. I use it a lot in the alchemy of ecstasy. And for this one, you're going to stand in front of the mirror. And you're going to do it after you've done all this other stuff, and you are more in touch with those aspects of yourself that you have repressed, suppressed, and disassociated from. And you're going to stand in front of the mirror. You're going to close your eye, take a few deep breaths. Then you're going to slowly open your eyes and gaze deep but gently into your eyes, and speak. Speak aloud the things you fear, the parts of yourself that you've hidden, the dreams you've suppressed. And this is that moment where you're having a deep conversation with yourself. You're having a heart-to-heart with yourself. Of all your flaws, your insecurities, the root of them, and acknowledge these parts of yourself, these shadow parts of yourself, with compassion and a commitment to integrate them. Never judgment, never judgment. Don't ever cope yourself, oh, you behave this way, you do this, you do that. No, never that. That sternness has no place in the healing process. I want you to shower yourself with love and compassion. This is what we need more of. Love and compassion. So have this conversation. And again, do not do all these exercises at once. Do them over a few days or even a few weeks. And I highly recommend that, you know, when you have all this stuff comes up, all this muck, and you maybe feel overwhelmed, don't try to go about it yourself. You know, connect with a therapist, connect with a coach that's trauma informed and can guide you step by step through the process. And if you resonate with the way I teach, with the way I move about this earth, and you want to meet with me one-on-one, I will happily offer anyone who's registered for the webinar a complimentary session where we can dive into your unique situation and explore if we're truly a good fit, if you're a good fit for my program, and you and I are a good fit to work together one-on-one, and so that together we may dive deeper into the layers of your psyche, and truly empower you to transform your inner world and your external world so that it may be reflected in your relationship. And with that, I will bring this to a close. As I said, this is a two-part. And in the next part, what I will do is I will guide you on how to go about this process with your partner to empower you to develop true intimacy with another. And I will also share how to create relationship agreements that will really ensure that your high vibrational relationship truly thrives. So I'll walk you through the process of creating a relationship agreement, relationship terms. And with that, I share to all of you, and I'm going to open it up to questions that you may have. I'm going to mute everyone so we can all speak. To unmute. I'm going to, and feel free to speak. If you have a question of me in any of the parts that I have shared, I'm going to go through the chat and see if there's any questions here that I might have missed. Thank you for hosting. You're very welcome. Thank you. Welcome. Your work. Yep. What does it mean What does it mean others will know us and we attract who we are? I'm confused. Okay, so Ms. Jordan asked, what does it mean that others mirror us and we attract what we are? I'm confused about that because to me, I'm positive, caring, giving, have a big heart, and have done work, but what I attract, I don't trust. So it's all a resonant frequency. If something is not in alignment, they cannot be. It will repel each other. And Ms. Jordan, Ms. Jordan, you can speak if you want certain clarity in that. But as I mentioned earlier, if what you feel is your internal state of being is not being reflected to you, all of that is saying is that there's more work. And the key is that you might not be aware of the work that you need to do. And that's why it's good to work with a therapist or a coach to walk you through the process. I have had students that join my program say, hey, my childhood was great. It was beautiful, this is that, but how come I'm not getting this, and particularly in partnership? And we start doing the work and they realize, oh my God, I didn't realize I had all this stuff that I was suppressing, that I was disassociated from. So in essence, Ms. Jordan, that's what I'm telling you. Work with someone that will help you dig deeper. I'll be happy to hop on a call with you. Let's see if there's any more questions here. Please give us work. Oh, very good. So what uncomfortable topics as a woman should be asking the one pursuing us? That's part 2. That's the next webinar. But we'll dive into that. But I promise you that I'll cover that in the next one. There's just a lot of information. After going to the spiritual, I lost most of all of my friends. My question is, why did this happen? Beautiful. That's a beautiful question, Shangu. Shangu says, after going through the spiritual journey, I lost most, if not all of my friends. My question is, why did this happen? Same thing happened to me. Same thing happened to everybody on this call. It's evolution. As I mentioned earlier when I was addressing Ms. Jordan's question, if 2 things are not the same vibration, they repel each other. So when you do this inner work and you go through this transformation, you're not laughing at the same jokes. You don't find it funny. Your friends, they still want to do what they want to do. You're no longer interested. You want to do something else. You want to stay home, read a book. You want to go, round in the forest, stare at the ocean waves. It just that's the process. So you've changed. And this is why we go through this long journey. And then there's no name. Here's this iPhone. I want to work with you. My partner has relapsed. We have been together for 2 years, 4 months. I'm resonating about the childhood traumas, which have caused me to always feel that I have to take care of him. Beautiful. I'll happily join on a call. What I'm going to do, or my system will do it, you're going to get an email. They will have the replay to the webinar. And I'll also provide a link where you could just book yourself into my calendar. Easy peasy. You do have a therapist. Beautiful. And my space, I also do work with a clinical therapist. And quite a few of my students also work with her. So it's in essence what you build is you have your glam squad. This is your mental health team. We got you. What are some ways that we can heal a deep father wound, specifically abandonment? Beautiful. This is not a 1-2 punch. There's never a 1-2 punch. It's not a pill I can give you. It's the work, digging deep. And the exercises I shared with you will help you with that. The next part is exercising reparenting techniques. And that also is a longer process. It's not a 1-2 punch, but it is possible because we've all had been wounded by the father, the mother wound. And this is the work that we're now doing, Amanda. So in essence, the short answer is reparenting techniques that you must now do. Your parents cannot reparent you. Now you must reparent yourself. And that is the process of employing different modalities and therapies to help you regress to that state of being, that part, and then reframe it, re-author the story. All of the issues that we have as we move through this life is directly linked to a story that we believe to be true. So what then that requires is a deep self-introspection and analysis to understand that. And then the guidance, and this is why I recommend working with a therapist or a trauma-informed coach that can then guide you in reframing the narrative so that you're no longer affected by this. I'd love to follow up with the sessions. Yes, I'm going to email it and make sure everybody gets the invite for the part 2. This is an enlightening session. I send you a private message, Asheo. I am glad that you found benefit. I hope that everyone has. And last shot, I'm going to unmute everybody. Hopefully they're done shopping. And you're free to ask me, a final question or two before we move on with each other's day. Beautiful, Kelsey. Thank you very much. And I thank you all for joining me on this beautiful Sunday. And I say, Ashe to you all. Be blessed.
Ashe.